Hello guys, my name is Oluwaseun, and this is my assignment submission for the day 2 of the International Educators Bootcamp organized by Stempedia. Now for day 2, we are expected to create a game. So first start by titling my game development in Python with Python game development development with Python. Now remember, we are using the Pictoblox software, which is a software made by Stempedia. So we'll be using this software to create our game. Now the first thing is we need to set up or bring in our materials, and for this game I'll be needing a bug or something of such. Okay, something of such. So I basically could use anything, and for this one I would probably use a mouse. I think I saw a mouse. Okay, I'll be using a mouse. Okay, now after having my sprite, what I need to do is choose a backdrop. Now for the sake of this, I will keep to the an inbuilt backdrop in this in the Pictoblox software, which is this maze. Now, so what we want to do is basically create a game where we are able to move the mouse across until we solve this game problem. So now that we have this, we need to just sort everything to get ready. So first thing first, let me reduce the size of the mouse to about 50 and see it. Okay, 50 is a little small. Let's say 60 is good. Okay, 60 is good. And now we can start setting up our game. So the first thing is I want to oh I've set the size and everything, but to make this better, we could also set the size of the mouse in the program. Okay, say this was in 100. We could also set the size of the mouse in the program. So I'm going to do sprite dot set size. Oh, not typing. Sprite. Now it's supposed to give option sprite. Sprite. Sprite dot set. Sprite dot set. Okay, set size, and I will choose the size to be 60. Now remember, this is Python, we don't have to use semicolons. Now the next thing I want to do is we could change the direction also, but I won't be doing that here because I'll be changing my direction during the game. I want the direction to be flexible, but we can also do it at the beginning of the game. Sprite dot direction, set direction. Oh, sorry. Sprite.set direction function, and let's set direction to 0 so that it can face up. Now the next thing is I want it to be able to come back to this position every time we start the game. So I also do sprite dot sorry, it doesn't. Sprite dot go to xy function. So we use that to be able to go to this specific position. But let's try to define the position more. Let's use about 150 to 150. So remember, it go to xy. So the first value is the x and the second value, let's say both of them are minus. So minus 150 comma minus 150. So this will at every time we start the game, it's going to go to x position of minus 150 and go to y position of minus 150. Now the next thing we are going to do is now control the mouse. Now we want to be able to control the mouse with our mouse with the arrow key on the keyboard. So we are going to be using the key function. All right. So, but then if we run this first, let me run this. If we run this, let's see what we have. if we run this, we are just supposed to have our mouse, okay, change size and face upward. All right, then now we can do other thing. Now we want this whole process to be repetitive. That means I do not just want it to happen once and stop. I want it to be repetitive. So because of that, we are going to use a loop, which is the while loop. So we are going to use the while loop, the while loop, the while loop. Now this while loop allows the program written within it to run repeatedly. So we are going to use while, and when you use the while loop like this, if you want it to happen forever, one thing we could use true, while true. So we say while true, and because this is a special function, we need to use a colon, and then we enter. Now also in place of this true, I one. One is the same thing for true and 0 is for false. So while true, then now we can now start setting the condition for us to play the game. Now remember, we want this to happen, we want the sprite to move when we move the arrow key on the keyboard. And then as we press the arrow key, we want it to go in that direction also. So we are going to be doing this in a way that it's going to move, change direction to the direction of the arrow key we are pressing, and it moves when we do that. Okay, so let's do that. So now we're going to use the if condition. So if now if what happened, if sprite, okay, if sprite dot is key. Now this function will allow anything we put inside of this to happen when the key is pressed. Now if is key pressed, now what key do you want to use? We want to use the up arrow, up arrow, up arrow. Now if the up arrow key is pressed, what do we want to happen? Sorry, let me use a tab here. So if the up arrow key is pressed, what will happen? Now we want the direction of the sprite to change. So we're going to sprite dot, oh sorry, sprite using my keyboard, sprite dot set direction, and we want direction to go upward. Remember, we use the up arrow key, so we're going to change this direction to 0. So that's 0. Now the next thing we are going to do again is we want it to now move. So we are going to have sprite dot move, sprite dot move. Now how fast do we want it to move? You can set your speed. I'm going to set it to about 5, so we can have something seamless and not too fast. So sprite dot move by 5. Now remember, to end this, you are supposed to use a quotation, a semicolon also with every if function that you've used. Okay, so I think I did something wrong here. This is not supposed to. Okay, yeah, because I'm supposed to use a colon here. So if sprite is key pressed, that's the arrow key is pressed, we want these things to happen. So I'm supposed to take this back because of indentation. This is Python. Indentation is very, very important. Right, so while true, if there's arrow key is pressed, we are supposed to be able to move forward. So let's run the program and let's see if that works. Okay, so because we are using a while loop, we are not supposed to wait for the program to finish running. Because it's a while loop, the program is supposed to be able to run continuously until we stop it, or until it has a reason to stop. So let me stop and run it again. Now, okay, you can see that the mouse has gone back to the beginning again, and I can move this. So I'm going to stop this, and then we are going to copy this program and just adjust values where necessary. So I'm just going to copy this, copy, and then it where necessary. Okay, now let me just do that a few more times so that I can be fast with this. Okay, so up arrow, I'm going to change this to down arrow, down arrow. I'm going to change this to left arrow, left arrow, and I'm going to change this to right, right arrow. So now for the down arrow, the direction is going to be 180, and for the left arrow, the direction is going to be, you could use -90 or 270 degree, whichever way. So let me just use -90, and for the right arrow, it's going to be 90. Now if I run this program again, let's see, run. If I run this program again, okay, so it's supposed to go back to, so okay, good, it has done that. So you can see now when I click on the arrow key on my keyboard, and then when I go up, I have to keep clicking, and then on this also, and it all works. Alright, so that's basically the movement logic of the game. And this wouldn't be nice if we can move the mouse, if we could move the mouse through the lines. So what we are going to do is we are going to create another condition for it to stop the game every time the game touches the red line. Okay, every time it touches the red line, the black line, we are going to set it to go back to the original point, and then when it gets to the apple, we say you win. Now we could also do it in other ways where we could have the scores showing, maybe every time it touches the black line, it reduces your score or something, and then we could always do that. So let's just ensure that it's not able to pass through the red line successfully. I'm still going to copy this. So instead of his key press here, I'm going to use his touching color, is touching. Okay, I'm going to use his touching color, and I'm going to set the color to black, which is 0 0 0. Remember, in this case we're using the RGB value of color, so it will permit us to use the 0 0 0. Then the next thing is the set direction up, and then sprite this position again. We want it to come to this position, so let me copy that, and then paste. Okay, so every time it touches a black color, it goes back to the original position. Now let me also run this quickly so that when it touches the red color, it's going to win. Control, oh sorry, Control Z. So that when it touches the red color, we win. Copy. Okay, Control V, and then it's touching red color. Since red is the red is what starts the RGB value, so we're going to have this to be 255. That stands for red. So we don't have to set the direction here, and we don't have to go anywhere. So what we are concerned about here is that the splash should say you win, you 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 win. Now we are going to make it say this for just 5 seconds. So now let's run our game and let's see if it works. Okay, see. Okay, let's run our game and let's. Now then we need to end this game once it stops, once it gets to the red color. So we're going to use the break break function or the break statement. We're going to use this to be able to stop the game every time it gets to that red apple. So let me stop it again. Let me stop it again and run it again. Okay, so let's let it go back. It's pretty slow here, slower than it ought to be, but there's an error, there's an error, sprites, okay. There's an error somewhere, and I can't see that error. Let me run this again. Okay, go to this error, and then we are going to come back to this. Okay, so apparently the error was with this instruction color function. I guess it could take more than just the value argument, and it could take another argument within it, which I didn't provide. So I had to just correct that quickly. So let's run it again and let's see if it works. Okay, so okay, let's hold on. Still loading. Okay, so it's loading perfectly, and let me try to touch a line. Okay, so it goes back to where we started from, so I have to be very careful here. I have to be very careful here. Okay, okay, it almost touched that line. So, and then we can do this. We can do this. It's moving this slow because we are moving at a very no. Oh, okay. So basically, that's how the game is supposed to work. But I don't know why it's so slow. The argument I gave for the move is little, and it's moving so slow. Eh, okay, okay. So, so. Oh, all right. So that's how the game goes. Thank you very much for watching. Eh.